Thank you all for joining us for the Grandpa Deckard Show. I hope you enjoyed the last presentation we gave you on the how to make a sailboat omelet and to enjoy it. And we're going to do something different this time. I'm presenting to you a story, one of my favorite stories from my life, a true story that I like very much to tell, and it's called The Lost Trombone. And by the way, while you're there, I want you to notice that this story is rated PG, which stands in this case for pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. So this is the way a story goes, The Lost Trombone. When I was in the 6th grade, back in 1962, the band director from our junior and senior high school in Bloomington, Indiana, came to our school and gave us musical aptitude tests. And then he followed up with an interview of all of those in the 6th grade that would like to be in the junior high school band in 7th grade. And so when it came my turn to be interviewed, the band director asked me what I would like to play, and I said, well, the drums. And he said, well, you know what I really need? I need trombone players. And I had not ever thought of being a trombone player, but he got one out of a case and showed it to me, much like this one over here, and explained how it worked. And I had a lot of questions, and he said, you'll learn. He said, it'll all come. And so after that, just after that brief interview, I was set for life. I was to be a trombone player. So when 7th grade came and I showed up in band class for the first session, I was given a rental, a trombone rental, and it was the ugliest instrument I'd ever seen. All the shine was gone. It had dents and nicks and all banged up, and just a horrible looking instrument. But it sounded okay, and I think my parents wanted me to prove myself during that first year that I was interested and I was really going to do something with the trombone before I found something nicer. Well, 7th grade went by and I loved band. And by the time 8th grade came, I knew I was in for the long haul. So I took my hard-earned paper route money. I was making about $5 a week delivering 40 papers. And I went down to a local music store and I found this trombone right here. And the music store owner says, well, we can fix you up with that for small monthly payments, and you can take it right now. So I was thrilled. I took this instrument home with me. That was in 1964. And I started carrying that to and from school every day. In the evenings I would practice. And one of the places I practiced, we lived in a 2-story house. We had Indiana University students upstairs, and I thought, well, if I go in the basement, that'll be far away from the upstairs and won't bother anybody when I'm practicing. And little did I know, well, we had this huge coal furnace in our basement, and ductwork going from that radiating out to all the rest of the house, the 1st and 2nd floors where the students were. And as I was playing down there, the furnace became like a microphone, and the ductwork was, it was like, carrying the sound everywhere throughout the house. And so all the way to the top of the house, to the students' quarters, they could hear my practicing. But bless their hearts, they never said anything. And so I got better and better, and I'm sure it was easier for them as I went along. So I was in, bought my new trombone, and I was in concert band in junior high school. Then in senior high school in the 10th grade, I was also in the marching band. And besides the marching band, that wasn't quite enough. I was also in pep band, and we played all the high school basketball games. And so honestly, of all the things I did in junior high, high school, the best thing ever was the band, playing my trombone. And then got out of school. I even played a semester of college and got out of school, and I lost interest in the trombone. There wasn't anybody to play with, no encouragement, whatever. So I stuck it in a closet somewhere and forgot all about it until later on when Gene and I got married. Still had it, still didn't play it. And one day I was in a local bargain barn. This was at the time in Mitchell, Indiana. I was visiting a bargain barn there, and I saw a guitar which was much like this one over here, an archtop guitar. And that caught my eye, and I thought, this looks really nice. I was not, and still I'm not, a guitar player. But at the time I was playing banjo, loved the banjo, and I saw that archtop guitar, and I had this idea that maybe I could take this and string it up just like a banjo. And so that's what I did. And immediately then I could play this archtop guitar that I had gotten from the bargain barn. The way I got it was I traded my trombone. I dug it out of the closet and I took it down there and I said, would you take this in a trade? And they said, well, yes, they would. So just like that, my trombone was lost, at least to me, it was lost. And I thought, well, I'll never see it again. Someone else will buy it, they'll have fun with it, and that's the end of the story. But that was not the end of the story. Many years later, we moved to across the ocean to Israel. We're there for 6 years. We moved to Bloomington when we came back, and a full 20 years later, 20 years after I had traded my trombone for the guitar, Gene and I were down in Mitchell, my hometown, and looking at an antique store, looking at stuff. And I began to wander up and down the aisles just by myself, and I saw this case over here. It was closed up. It was laying right in the middle of an aisle, and if I hadn't been looking, I would have tripped over it. I opened up the case, and there was my trombone. And I asked the store lady, I said, where did you get this? And I said, I think that's mine. And she says, well, the local bargain barn, which is where I traded it for the guitar, she said they closed up shop and we bought all of their inventory. And so, as it turned out, for 20 years, it had been sitting there and nobody wanted it. And I was thrilled. I was rejoicing in my heart, you know, and just made me so happy to be reunited with it. And I determined that I would not put it in the closet again, that I would play it. I would find happiness and joy in playing that instrument again. And so, first of all, you know, it was amazing to me that it would sit there for 20 years and no one bought it. And then that very day we showed up, it was right there in the middle of the aisle. You know, I thought it was a kind of a God thing that he wanted me to get it back and do something with it. And so I did. And the other thing this story, the Lost Trombone story, reminds me of is, of course, a couple of Jesus parables where he talks about the lost sheep, and then another one about the lost coin. And in both cases, there was something lost and something found again. And he, you know, shows us in the parable that this is like the lost soul out there, the one person that doesn't know God in a saving, meaningful way. Or, you know, somebody who one time knew God and wandered away and then came back again, was found again. And and it says, those stories say that when a lost soul comes back to the Lord, that there is rejoicing in heaven. And so I kind of shared that joy when I saw, you know, my lost trombone and got it back. So let me just say, this is a 70-year-old guy, almost 70, playing a 56-year-old trombone. And also by way of encouragement, if you have an instrument sitting in your closet you haven't played for 10, 15, 20 years. Don't be discouraged by that. What I've done with the trombone is I get out an old book that I had from the very start in junior high school, and it's called How to Play the Trombone. And you sometimes just have to start all over again and learn some basics, and then from there you'll be surprised how it all comes back to you. Just like, as they say, riding a bike. Okay, so here's a song I like. This is one of my hundreds of favorite songs, by the way. So, Just a Closer Walk. So this next thing I'm going to share with you is just for fun. And this is rated G for goofy. All right, first of all, I want to introduce you to a very special guest. This is my wife, Grandma Deckard. She's also mom. I'm also dad. Her name's Jean. And she's going to help me to demonstrate an idea I had. You know, a long time ago when I was a kid growing up, we had a piano, and we all knew how to play Heart and Soul on the piano. All of us knew how to. And we could do it as a duet, two of us sitting on a bench and playing the instrument, different parts. And then I took Jean one time to a boogie woogie concert in Bloomington, Indiana, and we saw 3 people playing the piano at the same time. So I'm thinking, well, hey, that looks like fun, you know, and I wonder if we could do that with a trombone. Well, looky here, we can do it with a trombone. Now, granted, Jean has only had her first lesson in trombone playing, and that's how to hold a trombone. But she knows how to slide the slide now as well. So I just want to show you the possibilities. I don't claim that we're ready to go on the road and take our act to the rest of the world, but I would like to say that if there are any professional trombone players out there who would like to try this at home, just try to remember where you first heard about it on the Grandpa Deckard show. But here's how it works. Okay, so you just slip a tube over where the mouthpiece usually goes, and now we have 2 people just holding that first position for a moment, and here's the way it sounds. Do a little slide work for us. Okay, well, we're not super good yet, but I think with a lot of practice, maybe when we're in our 80s, we can actually play a song. But you get the idea anyway, fun with the trombone. And I have one more thing to share with you in just a moment. Okay, so this last thing I want to share with you is rated R, and before you chase the kids out of the room, let me explain. It gets an R rating for ridiculous. Okay, so one more idea I'm wanting to share with you is I actually got interested in stringed instruments back when I put my trombone in the closet. And because with the stringed instruments, I could sing and play my instrument, and I love to sing along while I'm playing. And then again, I had another thought. What if you could sing and play the trombone at the same time? How would that work out? Well, maybe something like this. Just a closer walk with me. Well, you see, that's ridiculous, right? And I warned you. So that's not really singing and playing the trombone at the same time, is it? What it is, though, is singing through the trombone. And so imagine with me that I'm in a combo, a jazz combo, and I'm playing my trombone, and they asked me to sing a verse, but they've forgotten to give me a microphone. So what could I do? Well, I could sing through my trombone. This would be my trombophone. It's a little hard though with a regular trombone mouthpiece because your lips are kind of limited in how much movement you can do with them. But here's a solution to that. Instead of the trombone mouthpiece, we drop in a funnel. And if you get it right up tight against your face, I don't know, I may need the next size larger, but it's a little hard to move my chin, frankly. But here's the way you do the trombophone to amplify your voice in absence of a microphone. Push it in tight against your face. Just a closer walk with thee. Grant it, Jesus, this is my plea. Okay, you get the idea, right? Push it in tight and sing. You know, in one of those cases where they didn't give you a microphone. All right. Well, you know, that's really all I've got today, and I thank you for dropping by the Grandpa Deckard Show, and I hope to see you again next time when we'll bring you a little something else, and it'll be a surprise to me, maybe as well as to you. But next time, God bless.